Why you should never pop a pimple here. There's a pimple on the side of your nose. You've been staring at it in the mirror for about 30 seconds now, telling yourself you're not going to touch it. And you both know how this ends. Your fingers are already moving. You've done it 100 times before, and nothing has ever happened. But surgeons have a name for the exact patch of skin your fingers are about to close on. They call it the danger triangle. Some of them call it the triangle of death. And it isn't a nickname somebody invented on the internet. It's anatomy. It's been in the medical literature since the 1850s. And the reason it exists has nothing to do with your skin. It has to do with your plumbing. But to understand what makes that one small patch of your face different from everywhere else on your body, you first have to understand something about your veins that almost nobody thinks about: how blood knows which way to go. Blood in your veins is flowing back toward your heart, and a lot of the time it's fighting gravity to get there. So your body built in a safeguard. The veins in your arms, in your legs, all through your body are lined with tiny one-way valves, little flaps of tissue that open to let blood through in the correct direction, and then snap shut behind it. They are functionally turnstiles. Blood goes forward. Blood does not come back. That's the system. That's how it works everywhere, except in your face. The veins in the central part of your face, the ones running through the region from the bridge of your nose down to the corners of your mouth, are uniquely valveless. No turnstiles, no one-way flaps, nothing stopping blood from flowing in either direction. And that means whatever is in that blood can travel backward, upstream, against the current, if the pressure is right. Zero valves. Now the only question that matters is, backward to where? Follow the vein. It runs from the corner of your nose up alongside your inner eye and drains into a structure sitting directly behind your eye sockets, a hollow chamber of veins called the cavernous sinus. And the cavernous sinus is not just near your brain. It is inside your skull. It sits at the base of it. It's part of the drainage system for your brain itself. And threading directly through that chamber are some of the most important nerves you own. The nerves that move your eyes. The nerve that carries sensation from your face. And one of the largest arteries feeding your brain. So look at what that actually means. There is a vein running from a pimple on your nose with no valves in it that empties into a chamber inside your head, not near your brain, in it. And this isn't a fluke of one unlucky person's anatomy. It's you. It's almost everyone. In one study of cadaver specimens, researchers found this direct connection: the outer veins of the face wired straight through to the venous sinuses of the brain in 97% of the bodies they examined. 97%. That's not a defect. That's the design. And now, at last, you can see exactly what you were about to do at the mirror. Because most people think popping a pimple is about the skin, that the risk is a scar or a mark or a little surface infection. That's not the risk. A pimple is a sealed sac of bacteria, oil, and dead cells trapped inside a pore. And when you squeeze it hard between two fingers, it does not simply pop outward the way you want it to. You are applying pressure from both sides, and a significant amount of that pressure goes the other way. The sac ruptures inward. You've just injected a pocket of bacteria, usually staph or strep living on your skin right now, down into the tissue underneath. Anywhere else on your body, your immune system would handle that quietly and you'd never know it happened. But you didn't do it anywhere else. You did it inside the triangle. And down there, in that tissue, is a vein with no valves in it that leads directly into your skull. If those bacteria get into that vein, they don't get flushed away. They travel up it, backward, into the cavernous sinus. And once they're in that chamber, an infection there can cause the blood inside it to clot. That's the condition doctors have feared from this since the 19th century. Cavernous sinus thrombosis, an infected blood clot sitting inside your head, wrapped around the nerves that control your eyes. And this is not theoretical. In 1937, a study looking at cases of cavernous sinus thrombosis found that 61% of them had come from boils on the upper part of the face. Before antibiotics existed, developing this was effectively a death sentence. Patients almost never survived it. Antibiotics changed that story enormously, but they did not end it. A recent review of 27 confirmed cases across 2 major hospitals found that around 11% of those patients still died in the hospital. In the modern era, with antibiotics, with intensive care, and you'd think surviving would be the end of it. It isn't, because of what that clot is sitting on top of. Remember the nerves running through that chamber, the ones that move your eyes. Among the survivors in that review who had follow-up eye exams, close to a third were left with lasting damage. Some could no longer move their eyes normally, and some lost all useful vision in an eye. Permanently, they lived, and the infection took their eyesight with it as it went. Now here is where I have to be straight with you, because the truth is more interesting than the scare story. This is rare. Genuinely, seriously rare. Dermatologists will tell you plainly that it is very unlikely that picking a single pimple will spread an infection into your sinus, let alone your brain. Millions of people squeeze spots in that triangle every single day and are completely fine. Antibiotics have pushed this from a common killer down to a medical rarity. But look carefully at why it's rare, because it isn't because the pathway closed. The anatomy hasn't changed since 1852. The veins in your face still have no valves. The road from your nose to the inside of your skull is still wide open in 97% of people, tonight, right now. What's rare is the specific chain of events. The right bacteria pushed deep enough into the wrong vein in someone whose immune system doesn't stop it in time. The danger triangle isn't a guarantee. It's a possibility that everyone carries, and almost nobody knows they have. So go back to that mirror. Look at the pimple on your nose and look at your fingers an inch away from it, about to do what they've always done. Nothing will probably happen. Nothing has ever happened before. But understand what that region actually is now. It isn't just skin, and it isn't just a spot. It's the one place on your entire body where a blood vessel forgot to install a door.